Hi, my name is Jonathan, and this is
Sandra, nice to meet you.
We Are the Tired Parents. And today we are going to be discussing the very important topic of how long should you date before you're married, coming from the perspective of a traditional marriage, traditional relationship level, especially coming from the younger generation here, that it's possible to do this and this nowadays than what you might think. Just requires a little bit of work and time, and I figure that's a good topic to start with. It'll get you all introduced to us a little bit and give us a kind of basis of hopefully what we plan on doing and seeing what it goes beyond this.
Mm-hmm.
So to start with, I would say not long. That would probably be the best bet thing. What do you think?
I don't think, once you're at an appropriate age to get married, obviously, and kind of have your life and character together, your own character together and your life, on track. I don't think, you should wait long. I don't think it takes a long time to get to know someone well enough to find out if they're marriage material or not.
Yeah. And, we come from the perspective that we've actually been married for 15 years. This year will be 15 years. Mm. And we started off, all in all, we were together, I think, 3 or 4 months? Mm-hmm. 3 or 4 months before we were married. There's some going into that, that you could say it was a couple months where we were more just kind of friends. Yeah. And we were getting to know each other. And I think that's the biggest factor that's involved with this whole aspect that a lot of people in society have wrong, is that they're scared of commitment for whatever reason, and they think that the longer that they're married, the more they'll get to know the person, we'll say. When, they want to know all the ins and outs, and just like kind of having a child, you're never really going to be fully prepared to be married. You can come from a pretty good perspective, but there are some things you can do that'll help you out and get to know that. Things such as
premarital counseling.
Premarital counseling.
We did premarital counseling, even though we only dated for 3 or 4 months. I think it was like 4 months before we were married. Of course, we got engaged in there too, but it wasn't, long. But we had, kind of a different start because we started out talking online, not through a dating app. We had actually met in person once prior through my brother. He was really good friends with my brother. And we met over Thanksgiving. And then a year later, we just started talking again. It was via online. And it started out platonic, at least from my perspective, as friends, I didn't actually know if he'd even remember me, or I don't know how it came to be. We can get into that story more later, in depth, the details of that. But yeah.
So ultimately, the key point that that we want to give you all is like, we got to, when we started working, we got to know each other, how we handle problems without actually having physical contact. Because to be honest, once you start getting physical with someone, you get those like lovesick love goggles on, we'll say, where you're going to miss out on some. We're going to miss out on some elements that you might have missed, that you're not going to have an opportunity to do that. And then you also, we touched on it briefly, but you really, and I can't emphasize it enough, and I think it's one of the most important things, is kind of setting boundaries, but also setting expectations up right away. When we first got together and we were talking, and then it turned out that it was going to be something more than friends, it was like she whipped out the big guns. She's like, well, I'm looking for marriage material.
I'm looking for a husband. I wasn't like a casual dater at all. I had never even dated before. I honestly thought we would maybe just be friends when we first started talking, like I said. So I didn't even know we'd end up dating or falling for each other, or whatever you want to say. Maybe that doesn't happen, but end up being attracted to each other and, being in love later on. And so, I forgot where I was going with that.
That's okay. This is, it's obviously our first video, so we're really just kind of
seeing how it goes.
Letting you know how, kind of introducing ourselves. And And ultimately, like I said, what our intention was, is this topic video, which you might come here, is like, how long should you date before you get married? And I'd say overall, not long. Not long. Don't let opportunities pass you by. I've sadly known some people that have sat there in the dating pool for way too long, and and they were actually both decent people. They liked each other. And then one wanted marriage, but they didn't make that clear in the beginning, or they sacrificed on that when they initially dated because of the physical attraction or something like that, and it wound up falling apart. So don't squander your time. Life is too short to squander, and you never know if it's going to work out or not. And you won't know even if after 5 years, like, oh, well, now we're ready to get married, but do you know if it'll actually work? And so the important thing is don't miss the opportunity. Don't waste too much time. Set your expectations right up from the start. Don't try to hide behind some, well, I don't want to think you're weird, or I don't want to scare them away. No, just be bold. Be front with them. And then if they're on the same level as you, well then, they'll be on the same level as you, and you'll wind up having a decent relationship. You'll have to work through things. Life, you're going to have to work through things no matter what. If you're with someone for 5 years, 10 years, whatever the case is, even if you're not married, you still have things to work through. And even in our 15 years of marriage, we've had personality changes, such as, children coming along. Children will alter how you handle situations completely. We've had some trauma related things. There's lots of things that'll go on that'll change your perspective.
Deployments
Yeah.
are a testing for a marriage, and we were young newlyweds, and he deployed 3 times, 10 years in the military, and then we had kids along the way, started having kids along the way, and so that is, that's a big test. And you get to see all sides of the person, good, the bad, the ugly, the good, the honorable, whatever, comes out. But I say we have a lot of experience within our 15 years. 15 years is a long time to be together, especially nowadays for, I think, any couple, but especially like a younger couple like us. And, we've been true and faithful along the way, which, we've had the Lord as our strength, as extra strength that I think, maybe some people don't have or acknowledge or understand or something. But, we've had the Lord to help us with that part, which I think gives us a different dynamic in a relationship. But, yeah, I don't think you need long to get to know if somebody is right for you.
Be honest.
But I do recommend, ask intelligent questions from the beginning and get to know that person's mind as well as you can. And, do different things with them where it kind of tests their personality, or you can see, maybe it'll give you a window into seeing different sides of their personality. Like, take them hiking on a hot day, see how they handle it, if it just goes well, or if they just start complaining really bad, or getting impatient, or we're all human, we all maybe get impatient or irritated sometimes. That's normal. But I mean, is it excessive? Is it like their personality totally switches, or just kind of, and see if your values line up, and get premarital counseling.
I think that pretty much closes those thoughts up. I think that's the best takeaway we can have, is you're never going to fully know someone no matter how much time you put into it. So you might as well, do it while you guys are married and enjoy the benefits of marriage. That you discuss expectations, you receive some counseling, and, don't miss and squander opportunities.
Also, be willing to maybe let go of a few expectations. You don't have to get rid of everything, but some of them might not be realistic. So you kind of got to compromise on both ends and figure out what is realistic and what's the healthiest, route to go with it. And also, life in general is risky. You risk every day walking out your front door and getting in your car and going to work. I mean, you get in a car accident, anything could happen. Not saying it's going to, but or we live in fear or paranoia. I'm just saying life itself is a risk. So you always are risking something every day. So
So I think that'll be it for today. We want to try to keep these not too long so you can sit down and mix them into your busy schedule. And, join us again, as we'll continue to discuss little topics and things that make a successful traditional marriage nowadays from kind of younger people, because we are millennials, despite the dirty word that is. But it's possible, and we're just going to be there. We're going to enjoy letting you know, kind of share our life with you, and we hope to catch you all later. I think that's all. You all have a wonderful, glorious night, evening, whatever it happens to be when you see this. And we, the Tired Parents, shall see you again really soon. Goodbye.